Hey, woman of God, welcome back to my channel, and thank you for coming back again this week as we continue on our series about the lies that we believe. So I celebrated my birthday very recently, and I started to think about the things that I used to think years ago. Every time I would have a birthday, I would be tempted to think I should be further along by now. I should be further along in my relationship status or my relationship, my career, ministry, and my health. I was tempted to believe I should be further along. Has that happened to you? Well, that is what we are going to talk about today. And there's three things that I thought about related to this topic. The first one is our dreams and our plans sometimes convince us that we're behind. If you're like me, maybe you had a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan. You've had plans for your life. But we know when we commit our ways to the Lord, it's Him. He is the one that establishes our plans. So that's what we have to rest in. And we have to remember that the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. So any plans that you have, we need to remember that He is the one that establishes those plans. The second thing is our timeline isn't necessarily God's timeline, right? And I used to hate when I would be reminded of this, because I would say, well, yes, God lives in eternity. He lives outside of time. But He knows we were created in time. He knows that we will be thinking about time. So why is this a big deal if I think about it, right? Well, it has to do with anxiety, and you talk about it, think about it, talk about it, think about it. And now you have talked yourself or thought yourself into a bad mood, and you're anxious about it because you believe falsely that you are behind, right? Well, we know in Ecclesiastes 3:11, it says He makes all things beautiful in its time. And also, according to Isaiah 55:8-9, His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than ours. So we have to remember that He is the one that establishes our plans in His timing. And the third one is focus on faithfulness rather than speed. The faithfulness of God. In Philippians 1:6, it says, He who began a good work in you will see it on into completion until the day of Christ Jesus. That is His promise. So rather than sit back and think, hey, I should be further along by now, maybe sit down and think about the things that you have accomplished. That is the challenge this week. Over your life, sit and think all of the things that you have accomplished and celebrate that. Celebrate those as wins. Yes, you are not necessarily where you want to be in every area in your life. But as long as you are submitted to God and walking with God, it is well. And also in those areas that seem like you're behind, sit and ask Him, God, is there anything that you want me to learn now? Because just because you are not as far along as you want to be, and it may seem like a delay, maybe it's not a delay. You're just in a different spot than you thought you would be. So ask Him, what can I learn now? What should I be focused on now? When you are tempted to think about the fact that you should be further along by now. So that's your encouragement this week. If you are blessed by this in any way, I pray that you would like, subscribe, and share with another woman of God who needs this encouragement. Woman of God, I know that you do so much. So this week, again, I ask you to put that cape down and invest in you.